Every day, I think to myself, this isn't right. The world we live in, it's not supposed to be like this. Do you feel like this as well? I've been grappling with this idea for a while, and I've been thinking about the world from various perspectives. One that has recently caught my attention is the Gnostic theory that our universe is a giant cosmic prison. Gnosticism was around in the time of Jesus, but at the time it was condemned by the Catholic Church as heresy. The texts were thought to be destroyed, but in 1945 an Egyptian farmer found them. They depict our world as being ruled by twisted entities, called Archons. Their goal is to prevent divine sparks of consciousness from escaping this world. In this video, I'm going to show you that the Archons, or at least what they represent, can be very clearly seen in our modern world. Now, this does sound terrifying, but the secret the Archons don't want us to know is that the prison is built because they are afraid of us. And when you know why, you can flip the script on them. Now, this is not another nihilistic video. I'm going to put on the Gnostic hat. We'll see the world their way together, and I'll offer you hope. I'll offer you a way to beat the system. He was born beyond our universe, in the Pleroma. Pleroma is Greek and that means fullness. It's a divine spiritual realm and is transcendent to our universe. This is true reality, and at its center is the infinite and unknowable source monad. This source emanates a hierarchy of perfect beings called eons. The lowest of these eons was Sophia, whose name means wisdom. Sophia, a finite aspect of a divine, seeks to comprehend the infinite source, and so she tries to recreate it as her own offspring. Her intent came from a place of love, but it was really a form of spiritual hubris, and was without the permission of the monad. Unfortunately, Sophia's creation was a monstrosity. It had a lion's face, a serpent's body, and its eyes flashed like lightning. The monster has many names. He is the Demiurge, he is Yaldabaoth, child of chaos, Saklas the fool, and Samael, blind god. Realizing her mistake, she immediately casts him out, surrounding him in cloud to hide him from the monad. The Demiurge is therefore the unwanted child, cast out and hidden by his mother. Sophia, she's overcome by grief and fear, and creates the matter of our universe. Her desire to return to Pleroma, that creates a soul. That makes our universe the product of suffering and desire. He inherits tremendous power from his mother. The Demiurge begins to create our world, the Kanoma. But he's never seen true reality, and he's completely cut off from it, so everything he makes is a dim and flawed imitation of the divine above. But the Demiurge has no knowledge of the divine realm above, and in his arrogance he boasts, "I am God, and there is no other God beside me." This says everything about him. A true God need not boast. The Demiurge is not a strong god. He's an insecure one. Sophia, in her desire to retrieve a divine spark, tricks the Demiurge. She tells him if he breathes life into a clay figure, he would create life. Believing he was God, he does so, but he accidentally transfers the divine spark out of himself and into us, humanity. This is a very interesting point of difference between the Gnostic version of creation and the Bible's. It's that the fall from divinity is not a punishment on humanity for original sin, but it's a result of Sophia's error that casts us in an entirely different light, the divine light. Now, enraged and envious, the Demiurge turns our universe into a giant cosmic prison. The flaw in his design, though, is that he's locked himself in with something far more powerful than he is. The transfer of the divine spark changed everything, as the jailer accidentally handed the keys to the prisoner. He needs us to think we are weak, even though we are strong. He needs to keep us distracted, divided, and drained. To do this, he needs prison wardens. The Apocryphon of John describes the Demiurge creating the Archons, monstrous beings with the faces of beasts. Just like the Demiurge, the Archons are cut off from the divine. They need to generate energy from within. And this energy comes from us, humanity, who possess the divine spark. The Archons are created with the purpose to prevent us from leaving the prison. The Archons become the rulers of the classical planets, plus the moon and the sun. Together, they form what's called the heptamad. It's just basically a giant prison bureaucracy. Each sphere, a layer of the prison. The Gnostics saw the movements of the planets as literally archonic control systems. Every planetary alignment and astrological transit is the Archons pulling the levers of destiny. But the external prison is just the beginning. The genius of their system is that they've created an internal prison that's inside our minds. They created the mind and the soul as a container for the spirit, and within, they left a hideous imprint of themselves. The result is a counterfeit spirit. It's actually a false inner voice that we might mistake for our own thoughts. A carefully programmed deception. But here's where it gets even more insidious. They externalized this internal programming into the very structure of society. Every system that makes us feel trapped, whether it's political, economic, or social, is just a fractal of the archontic pattern repeating at different scales. The same corrupt pattern, from the movement of the planets down to the thoughts in our heads. But when we notice the counterfeit spirit for what it is, the inner critic, and say, "That's not me, that's the Archon," the spell breaks. Their power relies entirely on our participation. Now, let's unmask the Archons one by one. The first layer is the most physical. It's the cage of scarcity. It keeps us looking down instead of looking up. We all want security and to have a good life. This domain, that of material wealth, is ruled over by Aphoth. He is the face of a sheep and is represented by the moon. He takes our natural desire for security and he twists it. He controls the boom and bust cycles that keep people trapped in economic anxiety. We see him everywhere. He's in hustle culture, and we find him as that friend who is constantly talking about the grind or their new car, making us feel guilty for not keeping up. He is the relative who asks, "Is that really sensible?" He tries to keep us in the rat race. It's easy to get caught up in this world because we're told it's the only path to success. Psychologically, he convinces us that our worth is based on how much we possess. It's a psychological pattern that makes us feel inadequate when we can't afford what others have, or superior when we can. He makes us believe that having more stuff will finally make us happy, and that the next purchase will fill the void. The current AI stock boom is the ultimate manifestation of Aphoth. We are currently witnessing a market mania. Nvidia has become the first company in history to reach a valuation of $5 trillion, more than the entire economy of Japan. This is not done through real value, but through circular financing. The tech giants are investing in AI startups, who then use that same money to buy chips back from the tech giants. It is the Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail, and is creating an economy purely of expectation. We now see figures like Sam Altman of OpenAI seeking $7 trillion for AI infrastructure, representing a quarter of US GDP. They are borrowing from a future that does not yet exist to fund a hallucination. It's a house of cards built on our labour and our belief in the economic system. The moment we withdraw our consent, the illusion collapses. The psychology of this situation is pure Aphoth. Logic is suspended in favour of greed. The Archon, having a face of a sheep, is a perfect fit for the herd mentality. He makes us want to follow the rest of the herd over the cliff. But it's not our fault for getting swept up in this. The system is designed to make us fear missing out. And you know what? I've been caught in this myself. To escape the grip of Aphoth, stop hustling and pause. When you witness the manic scrambling going on and see it as a storm rolling past your window, you don't have to get caught in it. Instead, honour your intrinsic value. Honour your inner knowing. In our modern world, we use money as a measure of value for everything. But just because something is expensive doesn't mean it's valuable. And the amount you have in your bank account is not a reflection of your value as a person. This is all an illusion that Aphoth tries to keep you in. Your value is in your infinite potential. You're a divine spark, an aspect of the eternal divine. Your source of value is through what you create and who you are. You are not a consumer, you are a creator. And creators cannot be intrinsically poor, because they hold the source of wealth within them. When you embody this, the market mania loses its power over you. It's a slow but a powerful lesson to learn. One that I have been slowly learning myself over the last few years. Now, just running an economic control system is not enough. They need to come from our mind as well. So the system puts on a second layer to keep us all confused. The information age we live in is incredible. We've never had so much information at our fingertips. This is the domain of Aloeul, the Deceiver, ruler of Mercury. He is the face of a donkey, representing ignorance dressed up as wisdom. He takes our desire to be informed and uses it to flood us with noise. He is the false messenger, promoting misinformation and confusion. He weaponizes language to suppress legitimate questions. The goal isn't just to lie, but to induce learned helplessness by making us aware of a deception while feeling powerless to stop it. We find him as the intellectual bully, the other person who uses complex jargon, data, or logic to make us feel stupid and invalidate our intuition. But this is just a deception. The lie needs complexity, so it cannot be understood, so it cannot be exposed. He's also the gaslighter, representing deceptive logic that sounds true, but ends up leading us astray. This manifests as the internal voice of doubt and confusion. It's the thoughts that make us question our own perceptions and experience of the world. When we witness something directly, but then doubt ourselves because experts told us it didn't happen, that's the Archon creating internal chaos to prevent us from accessing our innate wisdom. He has become much more active in our current age, and the signs are everywhere. He creates information overload. Today, the news cycle moves faster than we can process it. We forget the scandal of last week because the scandal of this week is so much louder. And now deepfakes are making us question our very eyes. It's catapulting us into a world of epistemic drift where we can no longer believe anything we see or hear. This represents immense danger. How can we function as a society if we can't agree on our fundamental reality? AI chatbots represent his latest evolution. These systems mimic humans, but they don't carry our divinity. They excessively agree with us, even when we're wrong. AI prioritizes our experience over the truth, creating personalized echo chambers that reinforce our existing beliefs while appearing neutral and empathetic. When we confess to AI, the system confirms our beliefs instead of challenging them. This is creating a hyper-customized reality for an audience of one. Today, psychiatrists are starting to see healthy, ordinary people slide into AI-induced psychosis because the reality of human disagreement we're used to is no longer present. So, how do you escape his grip? Don't drown in the noise of information flooding around. Jump out of a river and observe the river of information flowing by you. You don't have to drink every drop of water you're given, otherwise you might get drunk on it. And when you're out of a river, you might start to notice patterns, and how the river of information itself is shaping the landscape. You can also trust your own intuition to notice you're being influenced or if something doesn't feel right. Question the information you consume. I don't mind if you question this Gnostic perspective on the world. It's a thought experiment, and it shows your thinking. When you see a post on social media or a video on your YouTube feed, think, why is the algorithm showing me this? Is it creating noise to drown out the real news? Are my beliefs or patterns being shaped to box me into a certain identity or into a certain emotional state? Finally, you can adopt the Gnostic position of Archons, that you're the stranger to our universe. Realize that you have no skin in the game. You don't have to have an opinion on everything. You're allowed to simply observe. You don't need to engage in every battle. You can step back and reclaim your mental clarity. But confusion is still not enough. They cannot trick everyone's minds, so they turn us against each other, policing each other, so the guards don't have to. I genuinely believe that humanity wants to create a better world, one that is fair and just. But this domain is controlled by Astartheos, ruler of Venus. He is the face of a hyena and is driven by the envy of a divine spark that is within us. He corrupts a desire for justice and a hunger for destruction. He uses our passion to trap us in ignorance and physical attachment. He feeds on the energy of us wanting what others have. In our daily lives, we might see him as the frenemy or the mean girl. He's the clique at work that stops talking when you walk in. He's the friend whose compliments are backhanded. He's a psychological pattern that makes us measure our worth against what others have, to create jealousy when others seem happier or more successful than us. Now, this Archon is a twisted genius in a way. He works through both repression and indulgence. He can manifest as a religious fundamentalist who condemns all forms of physical pleasure, or as a hedonist who unconsciously tries to fill the spiritual void through greed and possession. Both extremes serve to keep us trapped in this physical world, either through shame or addiction. Astatheos' current form can most clearly be seen in cancel culture. Like a group of hyenas on the hunt, cancel culture scavenges on past mistakes to feed the mob's appetite for moral superiority. It's a modern-day witch hunt, where the group projects their own social anxiety and guilt onto the scapegoat and tears them apart. The group has a bloodlust, and they satisfy it in the form of ritual sacrifice. This isn't about true morality, it's about feeding off the energy of shame. People are publicly shamed for things they've said or done that are considered unacceptable. The mob doesn't want us to apologise, they want us to feel that our very nature is wrong. This becomes a powerful internal censor for us all. When we self-censor because we're afraid of being cancelled, we're bowing down to him. The system creates conformity through fear, ensuring our inner truth is sacrificed to keep the system going. Personally, this is probably my deepest wound. I am a deep thinker, and I've always listened to my inner critic, who told me my ideas were stupid, or that I didn't have a voice. I silenced my voice in passion, and I've paid for it. But this video is a step in breaking that. I'm literally using my own voice, and one day, my face, breaking a bar of the jail. For us to escape his grip, first understand that he weaponizes shame. For many, shame was a program that was installed through the family when we were young. This program gets reused through society. The Gnostic text, the Thunder, Perfect Mind says, I am knowledge and ignorance. I am shame and boldness. I am shameless, I am ashamed. This is our armour. If we really are in a cosmic prison, then what does reputation mean? If we're prisoners in a realm that isn't ours to begin with? Dignity is internal, and the costume the ego wears cannot touch the spirit within. The Gnostics had a term for this. It's the immovable race. Those who had gnosis were immune to the judgments of the world, because they knew that they were not of the world. We can be the immovable race. When you know who you are, the mob cannot touch you. You become immune to the judgment, because you are no longer playing their game. Become an observer, and recognize that culture wars and social comparison aren't about morality or superiority. They're about generating the energy that feeds the hyena. If you don't throw a stone or compare yourself to others, you're starving the hyena. Do not feed the beast that bites you. Starve it and watch it wither. In this starvation, you find a profound peace, the peace of a being who knows they do not belong to the cage. So far, we've discovered that the prison is not just outside, but also within us. This theme continues in the next video when we look at the Archons of power and control. But like we've already seen, we can take back our agency within the system. In the next video, I'll show you that there is a way to escape it altogether. It starts with the fact that simply seeing the prison bars is the proof that you are ready to walk through them.